Special good morning to our listeners. Special good morning once again to our viewers. Those of you listening to Classic Radio, good morning to you. Those of you in GBN TV, good morning to you also. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. It's Wednesday, the 12th day of November 2025. Good morning also to those of you via our social media platforms. We're talking about the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning to you. It's a pleasure to have you folks, to have you with us always and all the time. With me this morning, we have Senator Gloria. She's a Minister of Social Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. I hope I got your ministry portfolios right. How about you? Good morning to you, Honorable Minister. How are you doing this morning?
Okay, I'm so fine this morning.
Well, nice to have you. Nice to have you. I think in terms of me doing To The Point, I think it's actually the second time I'm having you on the program. More or less. One other time was yourself together with, I'm trying to recall who.
Was Ron?
You? Yes, yeah. You and of course, Ron Ryder was here with me. So we have a few items to talk about this morning. We're going to focus a wee bit on the ministry that you have given the authority to look over. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the ministry of social and community development. It's an important ministry. Mm-hmm. Let's say in terms of the social life of individuals in Grenada. You understand? It doesn't speak to any particular community. Anything. Social development goes across the board. So let's talk a wee bit in terms of let's focus. I would say on areas within your ministry, the services that you provide, and some of the achievements. But let's start off the conversation in terms of your the ministry and some of the services that it provides. Sometimes folks may hear about community development and so forth, but your ministry plays a pivotal role in that per se. Mm-hmm. Talk to me in relation to that. Good morning once again.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on the program. It is my delight to share with the listening public a little bit more of my ministry and how we operate, some of the services that we provide, and some of the plans that we have going forward. Well, as we may know, my ministry leads the national effort that improve the life of everyone in this country. And it is at different levels. Don't believe you don't need social development.
I would never think I don't need social development. No.
Yes. So we promote good living, social welfare. We try to reduce poverty. We try to address the needs of people. We empower communities. We empower the less fortunate ones, or the vulnerable ones. Maybe I don't want to use the word vulnerable, that is why I'm trying to look for something else to say.
But it just has to get slipped in there for various reasons,
Yes, and we work in collaboration with other ministries and NGOs because government can't do it alone.
Yes.
So in terms of the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs, in relation to the services that we provide, we do housing for persons who are vulnerable. We also do training for young people. We do empowerment sessions for parents. We have a strong parenting program because I am of the view that once we get parenting right in this country, half of the crimes that are committed by our juvenile will be reduced.
Not to cutting in you, but sometimes I do have a different view on it. Mm-hmm. I always believe, you may not agree, or there may be individuals that I know there are parents who do their best. Mm-hmm. Provide for their sons and daughters at the ability that they can. Mm-hmm. But it's all left up to those individuals themselves in terms of the decisions that they make. And yes, some may say, well, it's single parent or so forth. Mm-hmm. But I always believe, I just don't like to put the blame on the parent.
No. I don't talk about single parent because...
Not even the single parent, but I just don't like to put the blame merely on the parent on the home. Yes, there are homes that may not, offer the best in terms of how that youngster behaves at home. The discipline may be minimal and so forth. We know that. But it left up to that individual. Mm-hmm. Just my personal belief. It left up to you, that individual, that youngster who wants to be the way he behaves. It's just my view on it.
So you subscribe to the saying that you make the child and you don't make the man.
That's how I view it.
I think as parents, if we set the limits early, we set the expectation, and we institute discipline, that we get better results with our children.
But there are parents who do that or have done that.
And they have good children.
And they have good children, and they have parents who have done that, and they have bad children.
But that will be a very small. That will be a very small number.
All right.
Very small number.
We're not going to debate it this
No, but generally, I think our parenting.
That's how I view it.
Yes, parenting is one of the factors I think that we need to really look at and try to address if we want to see a reduction in crime in this country. I recall probably we're going to school, going to school fairs, going to school activity way back when. By 6 o'clock, everything over. Or even though you don't offer your parents say be home by 6 o'clock and you have to be home by 6 o'clock.
So true.
Yes, but now I see children.
I have had that level of discipline still on me.
Okay, I see children 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock walking the road coming from activities and underage children, and I'm talking about teenagers, I'm talking about preteens.
But would you blame the parents?
Of course. Where is the parent?
I understand.
Because that is the question I ask myself every time I drive through and I see children. I say, well, where are these children parents? You know? Because, I mean, you have this child, you don't see the child in the house and you don't come out and look for the child.
But there are parents who do. But sometimes it's just that individual may just want to be as stubborn as they are. 9 years,
10 years, 11 years, 12 years?
They are youngsters who be in that particular way. Maybe you have not witnessed it, or you may have known it personally, but I have seen it happen. As I said, it's not a debate on that.
No. But I still I hold steadfast to the belief that parenting plays a very pivotal role in the kind of citizens we turn out in the country.
And I agree with you on that also. Parents plays a role, but it also leaves up to the individual themselves wanting to be a better person, be a good person. All right. As you go along this morning, I want to ask you, you mentioned something in the statement you were making earlier. You said your ministry also helps in terms of making the lives better for individuals. How does your ministry go about doing that, making the lives better for individuals?
Well, we do training, and we do training across the board. All sorts of training, especially at the community level. Okay. We do plumbing, we do electrical installation. So you as an announcer, if you feel you want to improve your skill or develop your skill in plumbing, you come to the classes.
I am multi-talented.
Okay.
So you wouldn't know you wouldn't have believed with the amount of things that I can do.
So that means you can then you can volunteer to be probably a facilitator.
And one of my weaknesses, I'm a weak teacher. I can't teach people. I can't teach anyone anything. Anyway.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we have things like plumbing, we have things like makeup for young people, young girls interested in makeup, and so on. We have that going. We have sewing, clothing designing, and so on. So it's a wide range of skills that we provide for people who want to enhance. And the reason why we take that approach is to ensure that we don't have too much people coming to ask us for seed down the road. So when we empower people, we think they should be in a position to take charge of their lives. They should be able to develop a skill that they can use to improve the economic situation. And hence the reason why we're focusing so heavily through community development on the development of skills.
Let me also ask you that. You mentioned the numerous skills that the ministry offer to communities in general. How are people gravitating towards these particular training programs and so forth? How are people gravitating towards it?
Well, we do needs assessment before we start a program. So in different communities, you have different needs and people express different interests. So, for example, in a constituency, you may have a lot of people requesting the skill in probably designing. You may not get that in another constituency. So based on the needs, when you go out, you meet with community, you have community meetings, and you get a number of persons showing interest in a particular skill. Or even if you do not get many people showing interest, you have a few, then you will advertise to, because some people not even aware of what they think they should get themselves involved in. So for example, you have about 5 persons showing interest in electrical installation. You want to do a class with 12 persons, then you advertise. Yeah. Because you have a start, you have some interest being expressed. Okay. So after the needs assessment is done, then you will start the whole project cycle. Okay. You know, okay. And you advertise, you register, you get people in, and you monitor what is happening there.
Do the ministry also assist in terms of, the opportunities for employment? After these individuals may have gone through these training programs and so forth, whether it's electrical installation, someone may be interested in becoming a seamstress, and all of these programs that you may offer. Do the ministry, of course, now offer the opportunity where, or try to provide the opportunity for individuals could be employed also? Well, because most of these individuals who may show these interests, I'm assuming most of them may be unemployed and thinking, well, if I develop this particular skill now, it could be a way of me gaining employment.
Yes, but we push a lot for people to be entrepreneurs. Yeah. So all who have a skill, the government won't be able to provide a job for them in that skill area.
I understand.
But we encourage people to start their own little business. We support them. We give startups for small businesses because we want to encourage the sustainability. We don't want to get this skill and sit home waiting on a job from the government. So we have also in place that kind of support for persons to
when I spoke about employment, I was basically talking along those lines itself. Government offer maybe the incentive where you can be provided with a loan or whatever to start your own business after learning that particular skill.
Yes, we have that in place.
You understand? Because after learning the skill, that's where the practical part of what you do comes in, and gaining the experience of what you're able to do.
And after gaining the skill, if you just remain as you were before, then we would have failed. We would have failed. So we have to take it through and make sure that it could be sustainable for the person and the family.
All right. Senator Gloria Thomas will be due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue with the conversation. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the short break. Don't touch it down.
Annual Wagiti Carib Super Knockout Football Tournament moves into the quarter-final round. Week 5 starts this Saturday, November 15th from 7 p.m. with 2 big games. Game 1, Caribbean National St. John Sports meets Fontana United. Game 2, St. David's FC versus FC Camahorn. Then this Sunday, another 2 thrilling matches. From 6 p.m., Paradise FC International takes on Crollo FC, while Hurricanes SC play Hard Rock SC in the second encounter from 8 p.m. The football action will be at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Admission $30 on both days. The 15th annual Wagiti Carib Super Knockout Football Tournament is on. Don't miss a game. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. This is exciting news for all car lovers and car owners. Get ready for Grenada Auto Fest 2026, a car show with a difference from antique and classic to modern innovations. Saturday, March 14th at the Roy St. John playing field in Tantine. Car owners, this is your chance to show off. Get that machine ready. Get that ride in mint condition. It's full throttle face-off between old school rides, the hot rod, and the supercharged modern customized rides. This is a family affair. Bring the kids, bring the crew, bring the whole yard. It's the Grenada Auto Fest 2026 on Saturday, March 14th. Get ready.
Get ready, Grenada. The Grenadian General Insurance Half Marathon and 10K Road Race is on. Sunday, November 16th. The Half Marathon kicks off at Corinth Junction, St. David's, and the 10K from Wyman's House, Woodlands, with both culminating at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Monetary prizes await the top 10 finishers in the Half Marathon and the top 5 in the 10K, the oldest finisher, and even the school, club, or organization with the most participants. Transportation will be provided. The 10K race is open open to all under 15 years. Join us as Grenadian General Insurance celebrates 35 years, protecting what matters and powering our champions.
Grenada Get Ready, GBN, the Ministry of Education, and the Division of Culture proudly presents Christmas Harmony 1.0, the inaugural primary school carol singing competition. Join us on Friday, December the 5th at 1 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Magical voices, festive spirit, and exciting competition await. Tickets, adults $10, children $5. Christmas Harmony 1.0, no better place to be. Be there.
This Christmas, GBN is lighting up Grenada. From November the 10th to December the 24th, your festive season starts right here with GBN's Christmas Catalog 2025. Start your mornings with mid-morning magic. Weekdays 10 to 12, live fun, giveaways, and Christmas cheer every day. On Friday, December the 5th, the school's Christmas challenge lights up the Trade Center. 15 schools, 1 trophy, and the voices filled with holiday joy. Then on Saturday, December the 20th, it's Christmas in Camahan.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again. To the point here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. My guest today is, of course, Senator Gloria this morning, and she's the Minister with the responsibility for social development, housing, community development, and gender affairs. Senator Thomas, welcome back once again. We were talking, of course, in the first segment related to some of the services that your ministry do provide. We get a little bit of debate about certain aspects of it, the services, but I would like you to continue to mention some of the services. I know there are listeners and viewers over there. Sometimes they're not too familiar with the services, most of the services that are provided by ministries, or they're probably more familiar with one particular type of service. I'm not knowing, well, I didn't never knew the ministry do all of that. You understand? So continue to highlight some of the services that the ministry do provide.
Well, we also, as a ministry, we provide a lot of care for the geriatrics on the island. We have persons going to their homes to look at them. We also have established homes, as you know, Kajuna homes and Richmond homes and those sort of geriatric care homes. And we believe that it is important for us to ensure that our elderly are properly taken care of, because you know they would have worked so hard to help develop this country. They would have given their life blood to the development of this island here, and now that they're reaching an age where we have to give back to them, we think that we need to have proper care services for them. And so we have designed a policy on geriatric care policy, and this is to help us to guide the work that we do. The persons who are sent to the homes, to the private homes, we do training with them to make sure that they know how to care for these people, and we continue to upgrade the services through additional things like assistive devices. We give them periodic checks with the doctor and so on. So they're not in the home, just they're eating and sleeping. We ensure that the medical is taken care of and they have whatever devices they need.
So you say that that your particular ministry, of course, take up that mantle of getting individuals who of course have the requisite skill and so forth in taking care of the elderly. Even though, so we're talking about homes who will be in private capacity also. You do provide those services. Those services also.
They go to the person's home, the individual house.
Yes. So I'm assuming if there's maybe there's someone who's listening about here this morning. I probably never knew of these services available, and they would like, maybe they have an elderly member in the family, and as younger people, time constraints in terms of having to spend time, go to work and come back, or probably having to get someone to offer the real care that they would like that individual there for a couple of hours during the day. How does the process start? How does someone go through the process of obtaining that? Do they write to the ministry, come into the ministry, make a call? How does that process start?
Before I get it, let me say that persons who live alone get the priority.
Get priority.
Right.
Great.
So if, for example, we have an elderly who resides with family members and the work schedule, as you say, prevents them from providing that care, they call the ministry. We have what we call the desk of the elderly.
Okay.
And they will register their interests.
Okay.
And the social worker will go to the home and do an assessment, and then we decide if we could send somebody there.
Okay, okay, interesting to know. So that's really good. Tell us some more about some of the other services that are provided by your ministry.
Well, we have the SEED program,
yes,
which is one of the flagship program, and this always creates us too, because persons are of the opinion that it is a pension, and when they reach 60 years, they're supposed to be getting SEED, and every program that I go on, or every program that the ministry, the social workers and so on, SEED officers are part of, they will explain that it's for the vulnerable. But people believe once they reach 60, they are entitled to get SEED, and this is not the case.
How does someone become qualified to be part of the SEED program, if I may ask you that?
Well, they will express interest. The SEED officer will go to their home and do the form. There is a form that you have to complete, a very detailed form, which offends the form offends many people because, as I tell you, it's very intuitive, yes. But it is very important when you have to make an assessment, you have to make a decision. You must have the data to guide you in making this decision. So it's very detailed. They will ask you all sort of questions. As I said, it's very intuitive, but it is important for us to get a real understanding of the person's circumstances, and that form is then inputted into the system, the computer, and then you will get a reading. Okay. So it will generate a reading, will tell you if this person is eligible or if this person is not eligible. If the report from the system said that the person is not eligible, we have what we call appeals committee in place. Okay. So the appeals committee will sit on that case. Well, before we bring it to the appeals committee, once we get the report saying that you're not eligible, we go back to the person and we say, well, we input your data in the system, you didn't get through, but interaction with the person will suggest probably that person really in need. So we send the social worker to do a further write-up. A write-up that the system wouldn't deal with, So the appeals committee will deal with that.
I mean, I certainly understand the use of computer-generated information. I certainly understand it's the way of the world today. But you could come to me and see in my state. I explain it to you. I said, Honorable Gloria Thomas, I am unemployed. I show you or I express my needs in terms of what I want and so forth. But sometimes hearing a computer have to generate if I am qualified or not based on the circumstances. But you could probably see for yourself, well, GT doesn't have any form of income besides maybe I'm getting an NIS some money sometimes. The quantity may not always be what I wanted to. I want to get in my direction where I'm going with this.
Yeah, no, but let me tell you the good news about that. Last month we completed the review of the system. So based on the reports and the concerns shared over the last few years, we had the World Bank in, and we relooked the tool. And now we have adjusted it so that it will take a wider band a wider band of persons. So for example, somebody that might have failed last year around that time,
for various reasons,
that person more likely to be qualified this time around, because we have adjusted the tool with the help of the World Bank, and we went and we piloted it again, and it is good to go.
All right.
And coming back to the fact that persons could go to the appeal. Oftentimes when you go to the appeals committee, you will be the system generated report will be overridden.
Because sometimes folks just need that assistance.
Yeah.
All right. Now the seed program and all these things. Let's talk a wee bit in terms of the achievements of the ministry per se. We have spoken a wee bit of. Maybe I hope you have covered enough of the services that you offer.
We could always go back if something come to mind. Yeah.
Have I missed any of the services before we get to the achievements? Have we missed any of the services that you may not have mentioned?
Well, we may have. Because
what are some of the services that we maybe have?
Well, we have the housing program, we have the training for young people in community development, we have the gender aspect of things, where we have that home in Sates, the Cedars home, which is a shelter for battered women that provide short-term stay for people until they could get themselves back together. Oftentimes we do send them back to the home. We try to get them, if they're working, we assist them with rent for a period of time, and in some cases we have to bill for some people. Is
that a bit overwhelming in Grenada in terms of that particular providing housing for people who are battered? Well, is it a bit overwhelming from your ministry standpoint?
Yes, it is. But what we've been discovering lately, that some people use that to get a house. So, for example, they will come and tell you they were battered and whatnot. They had a little argument and whatnot. And as you build the house for them, the same person that they come and complain about is living in the house with them. So we have
So there's no terms and conditions that are applied to when these things occur in terms of, I'm assuming you may have to do an assessment of that individual, that they were actually been battered and so forth, that there's some abusive situation taken.
The police have to come in sometimes soon.
And the terms and conditions will be laid out. So what happens if an individual do that? Does the ministry, revoke the housing and so forth?
We can't do that. Sometimes we feel like doing that, but
because people would abuse the system.
They're abusing it. Yes. Yeah, and they'll tell you they're in an abusive situation and how the boyfriend beat them up last night. And when you say to them, well, we have to probably get a space for you up in Cedars home. They don't want to go in Cedars home. They want to go in a rent house. They want you to rent a house for them.
They have the opportunity to dictate where they want to stay.
Well, that is what it's coming down to, but we cannot let those... we have policies in place, and we have to be guided by the policy. We can't let everybody who in a situation come to tell you what they will want and what they would like, and it is very, very challenging for us when it comes to a situation like that. But be that as it may, we try our best to see how we could facilitate people, and we try to make sure we work by the policy.
Let's talk a little bit about housing. It's one of the issues in Grenada that we know folks always looking for assistance in that way. We know that we have, of course, spoken about folks get the opportunity just in case abusive situation. Housing in Grenada has always been an issue. Folks looking for housing. How is the ministry managing that per se?
Well, this is a real tall order, because what we recognize is that young people, 23, 24, 27, 22, want to walk away from mommy house and they want you to give them a house. The whole question of working to earn is very absent in a lot of areas, because I will maybe advise young people, you're home, nobody will tell you have to leave. You work, save, go to the credit union, start a little something, then we could give you some support. But they want it from scratch, and they want it for free, and they want you to give them right now. And when you try to advise in that regard, they tell you they want the privacy. They want the privacy. But if you cannot afford your privacy, you have to work with the situation you in, and walk out and walk through to get your privacy. But they come and they tell you they want a house for them and the 2 children, and a house and the 3 children. But government is not in a position to give everybody a house for them and the 2 children. It is very, very difficult, especially if there's someone living. If you live in home, all you have to do is to work towards having your own. And government, in the meantime, could support you when you start, you may need something to finish up. You may need a few windows. You may need a few sheet of galvanized or something like that.
Yeah.
Then you could get that through the housing program.
But do you think folks are taking that to the field that your government did mention as a campaign promise, we will provide housing. So they feel, well, now that...
Did you say free housing?
Maybe they never said free, but you will provide housing. Maybe it'll not be free. They have the reason. I don't think anything is free in the world. So folks are taking the opportunity to feel, well, I should be able to get a house from government because it was a promise from government. Do you think that's what is the nature of that folks are using it for at that particular?
Well, probably because, comprehension is a very ticklish thing, and so some people interpret things could really be, something.
It how the information is brought across to them. That's another issue.
But nowhere in the world, not even in the developed countries, government give free houses. Nowhere in the world. I've been doing research. I've been consulting documents. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was in touch with Dominica housing officer, which is Skerritt's wife, because we're trying to do something comprehensive here in terms of a new policy direction and so on. So when you want to do those things, you speak with other persons who have the experience, who have gone through the mill, and get some ideas. So you formulate something that you think will be in keeping with your people and your situation in your local jurisdiction. And there is no free housing, not even in England and America and Canada. There is no free housing. So a small island developing state as Grenada with scarce resources, I can understand why everybody wants a free house. It's very, very, very hard to understand.
It is a ticklish subject matter, you understand. But we drew for a break, so Thomas, let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. When we come back, I wanted to have we talk briefly about some of the main achievements of the ministry when we come back in the next segment. Hey, folks, to the point, Classic Radio GBN TV. We'll be right back after the break. Don't touch it out.
My name is Libram. I am a student of St. George Anchor Junior School. This is my choir. We are here to win the competition.
My name is Kylie Blackett. I am the student of St. George's Anglican Junior School. We have the confidence to win this competition.
Hi, my name is Diani. I am a student of St. George's Anglican Junior School. Come out and support us at the Grenada Trade Center.
Feliz Navidad, Christmas coming, what should we do it? Feliz Navidad, eating cake and drinking sorrel. Feliz Navidad, prospero año, Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, Christmas coming, what should we do it? Feliz Navidad, eating cake and drinking sorrel. Feliz Navidad, prospero año, Feliz Navidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
Grenada, get ready! GBN and the Ministry of Education presents Christmas Harmony 1.0. The inaugural primary school choir singing competition. December 5th, 1 p.m. The Grenada Trade Center. 15 schools, magical voices, and fierce competition. Cheer for your favorites in categories like overall champion, most creative, best solo, and best group. Entrance adults $10, children $5. Don't miss the holiday magic. Christmas Harmony 1.0, where Grenada's brightest and youngest voices shine. Be there.
Get ready ready, Grenada. The Grenadian General Insurance Half Marathon and 10K Road Race is on. Sunday, November 16th. The Half Marathon kicks off at Corinth Junction, St. David's, and the 10K from Wyman's House, Woodlands, with both culminating at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Monetary prizes await the top 10 finishers in the Half Marathon and the top 5 in the 10K, the oldest finisher, and even the school, club, or organization with the most participants. Transportation will be provided. The 10K race is open to all under 15 years. Join us as Grenadian General Insurance celebrates 35 years, protecting what matters and powering our champions.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, once again. It's to the point. Good morning to those of you via our social media platforms. Welcome, of course, back, Senator Gloria Farmers with me this morning. I want to move to another segment of questions that I want to ask in VBID. Not only questions, I would say, but I would like you to tell me about some of the achievements of your ministry. It's been going on almost 3 years and months. 3.5 years going on months, and you being in charge of that particular. It's almost the entire 3 years you've been in charge of that particular.
No, I was in charge of social development and gender affairs for the first year.
For the first year,
yeah.
And then they added.
After when we did the reshuffle, they added the portfolio of community development, and housing.
No. Tell me about some of those achievements that you think that they have stand out for you a whole lot for that past, the first year, and then now another 2.5 years that you've been doing that. So
for me, the ability to roll out the seed card to the beneficiaries is a big achievement. Before I got into politics and as a social worker and a community organizer and so on, whenever I passed the revenue office and you see this long line of people in the sun, and if rain coming, they had to scamper for shelter and whatnot, I was more or less disturbed. Yeah. At one point in time, I was suggesting that the people should be sent in by alphabetical order on different days, not let everybody come the same day. And to some extent, I think that was considered. But although you tell some people that they will come, say like the Tuesday, they will come the Monday because they think the money will finish.
Yeah.
And we still ended up with a crowd. Long lines and crowds. Sometimes people faint because they leave early without a breakfast to make sure that they're in the line up front at very early. So that was this was one of the things that probably more or less motivate me to ensure that this card was instituted when I got in there as the minister. The PS that I made them is, she was Miss Veronica Charles at the time, and I visited and she told me, yes, there was some consideration for this card, but in terms of exactly how it will be instituted and how it will be rolled out, that was a challenge and whatnot. So we just pick up with it and then we start speaking to people who we think could assist with that, and then we engaged the bank. Yeah. That's the cooperative bank. We had meetings and so on, and then we got to a point where we realized it could happen, and right now, let's say 95% of all seed beneficiaries have the card in their hand. So you go, once the card is refilled, you go and you take your money when you feel to take it and how you feel to take it. So you don't have no waiting in long line. You don't have to run the first day to join the line. You don't have to run the second day. The money is there and you go when it is convenient to you. Right. So I think this is one of the greatest or the biggest achievement for me in the ministry, the ability for the beneficiaries to have the card and to be able to access the money as so they wish. Another big one for me is the fact that we were able to buy that home in Malmont from the Sisters of Charity, the Catholic organization there, to extend services for the elderly on the island. As you recognize, people are living longer these days, and we need more care facilities to accommodate the elderly. Most of the homes are filled, and as persons reach that stage where sometimes they need that care, we have to, although we send people to the individual homes, there is also the need to have people in a facility where it is more convenient to take care of them, less cost for that service. And so we have bought that place. We have not yet started operations there because the St. David's medical station is under refurbishment, and we will have to allow them to use there until the place is refurbished. Okay. But as soon as we'll be opening it up as a home for our geriatrics. So that is a big achievement for us to be able to buy that property to look after our elderly on the island. We were able to refurbish the Cedars home too. We had to relocate the residents there for a period of time. We do a nice rehabilitation work on the building. We refurbish that facility there. It is so much conducive to living and everything now, and I'm very happy about that. And also, we were able to increase the salary for the workers there, because since the home was opened many months ago, they did not get a raise of pay. It was working for far below minimum wage, and I'm happy to report that we were able to increase their pay, bring them up, and put them back in a nice facility to work. Okay. So we've been doing a few. For the Malagan home right now is under renovation. Okay. Yes, and in collaboration with the Maria Hola Foundation, they have given us some money too, but the government of Grenada has put in co-sponsorship. With them, and we are currently refurbishing that home, and I think this is a great achievement, because when we took office, the state of the home was real deplorable. You know, you have boys, and you know what it could be. They break in the door, they bust in the louvers, everything was in total chaos and confusion. So we are now refurbishing that home, and to make the place a little bit more comfortable for the living. We were also able to do the policy on disability, because we think it is very important for us to have an inclusive community, inclusive country. We cannot leave the persons who are differently able outside of the regular scheme of things, and so we work tirelessly to make sure that policy is in place. And disability is one of the things that we put high on our burner now, front burner, because for too long we think this community has been neglected or not given the proper attention that they need. So that is one of the things that we were able to achieve too. All right. Mm-hmm.
So it seems that there have been some healthy achievements, I would say, from your ministry under your stewardship for the last couple of years, and you're certainly hoping that will continue to grow as long as you are around and still in control of that particular ministry. Mm-hmm. Let's switch the conversation just a wee bit. You are the caretaker, I would say, if I could say, to that particular manner for the constituency. Is it St. Andrews Northwest? Yes. St. Andrews Northwest. Tell us about the constituency. How has it been for you, for the last couple of years, being a caretaker there? What were you able to do in terms of in that constituency, especially for the constituents? I know you're not actually the actual, parliamentary rep for the constituency, but the rep and you and yourself are part of the same party now. Mm-hmm. How has it been for you still?
Well, first I must say, I don't know if it's because of the portfolio I hold. Everybody comes to my office on a Thursday. Yeah. Because I think they need seed, they need house, they need help, so they come to my office. I always have a very long line of people every Thursday coming to my office to seek help from the government in terms of auditing. But as a constituency, we have made a lot of strides, and probably in every area of the constituency there was some development work or some program done, no area was left out.
Yeah.
No area was left out. Even the schools, we continue to upgrade the schools. All the schools have playing field, have swings for the children. We just, through community development, we install lights in Lafayette School, that's soon to be turned on. We also look at the Dunfermline Daycare Center there, where we provided them with some chairs. I was able to fence the building there for them because it was broken into so many times. We were able to get a security guard placed there too. And we continue to really provide that service in St. Andrews Northwest. As I said to them, St. Andrews Northwest is not underserved. I remember sometime last year when we met and we was discussing about the achievements in terms of the different constituency. When I said how many new houses are built in St. Andrews Northwest, PM makers, you can say, well, you take all the money for yourself. Yes, but we continue to do a lot. Roads, walkways, drains, the whole works.
What more would you like to see done in the constituency that will certainly please you as a rep in the community?
Well, I would really like to see the establishment of 2 or 3 more resource centers. I'm struggling to get one running next to Lafayette School, and but it is almost there.
Yeah.
We will use those resource centers to empower people, to train people, and I think once we continue to provide training for people and the people feel empowered, people get skills and achieve some of their life goals, I think things will be much better for the constituency and for life in general for the people that live there.
This is a technical question I'm going to ask you next. If elections are called in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, next year, or whatever, would you be running as a candidate in the next election?
Well, I'm thinking about it. I've not made up my mind yet.
You haven't made up your mind? Would you like to run in the same constituency if it is provided to you?
If the people ask me and they want me, then I will.
You will. You will. I mean, yourself and the Honorable Delmond Thomas, has been bosom buddies, and we're even to, of course, get her to be part of the National Democratic Congress now. How's your relationship?
Well, as normal.
Yeah. Normal relationship. All right, great. We're moving up to 10 minutes before the top 10 o'clock this morning, folks, which means we will give this segment to our listeners and viewers of them. They do have a question or two that they may like to ask. I'm not sure if we missed anything that you wanted us to contribute this morning, but we'll give this next segment to our listeners and viewers. I see the phones already going, which means there was something you want to chime in?
I just want to say too, one of the plans going forward, we want to establish a halfway home for children living in the care homes, like Smiles and Father Malagan.
That's part of the ministry?
Yeah, the ministry.
Okay.
Ministry, yeah. Yes, that is something that I miss, and I think is a big one. Because most times when the children leave the care homes, sometimes families don't take them back. They're not able to go on their own and end up on the street.
All right. So, that's a good idea. Some way they could, until they are able to manage themselves.
They could find themselves.
And move on into society as a whole, probably their job and so forth, and they can do that. That's an interesting thing. All right, so we're going to gravitate to the phone line 435-2041. You have double the option. I beg of you to be brief when you're calling, please, in terms of the question you may ask, and of course, so that we could accommodate as many callers as possible. Let's go to the phone line for first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning to you, JP, and your guest. Good morning to you. This morning, I want to ask the minister if
go right ahead.
How can she help to change our culture in that we will go light to get a heavy message? In schools, the story of the 3 little pigs. When the mother pig saw that her little piglets were adults and they needed to move out, she walked them through that. It's time now for you to go and build your own house and so on and so on. I am saying that to say that in our culture, we harbor our children long after they're adults, and then they want their privacy. So it's a kind of cultural thing that needs changing. Yeah, it needs to be changing. When the mother pig put them out, she warned them about the dangers out there by telling them about the big bad wolf, but they're on their own. Yeah, so I just thought I would throw that out. There's a big message in that little lesson, in that little story. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. You want to respond to the caller?
Well, as the caller said, the mother walked them through, and she explained to them the dangers out there, and that is what parents should do. Help the children find themselves, find their way, give them the necessary guidance and support so they could build their little house. And if needs be, the government have to throw in, no problem.
All right.
But I don't think the reliance should be fully on the state.
All right. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live. Let's hear from you.
Good morning, GT. Good morning, Sister Gloria. It's nice to see you. Sister Gloria, the last time you was there, right, and you talk about the housing department, the building back better, and you was saying that we wasn't getting value for money, meaning that there was contractor who getting a job and they couldn't do a proper job. Could you give us an update on this one? And my second question now, yesterday Mr. Cox was on, and then I asked a question concerning Carrico with a young lady that received material. Then they found that she was an NNP, and they removed the material. They came with a truck and took back the material. So I don't know if you have any information on that, or maybe you could ask Tevin. And if it is true, then I would like to see you guys help this lady. And the last thing I want to ask you, okay, there's a young lady who is an NNP, I know she does be an NNP platform, and then she said she have a disabled child, and then she gets some damage in the hurricane that we had before, and they took her out on the SID program, and as I said, she have a disabled child. I think she did in Kate constituency. She's a supporter of Kate, and she says she trying and she not getting the help. Could you also look into that for me, please? Have a great day, and you're very grow as a politician. I'd like to see that.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
To start with your first question, I was on the heartbeat, and I never said it was build back better houses, and that again was a real misinterpretation of what I said. I said that contractors are coming to you saying that they could build, and then you give them a work, and then you realize they're not up to the task. What they do is more of a disaster. Never said it was build back better houses. And when I spoke, I was speaking like the Minister of Housing that is responsible for the small houses that we do on the community development and housing. Build back better is a different thing on the MIT, and I was not speaking to that because I was not the one directly responsible for the build back better houses. As minister, I gave overall I have overall oversight of everything, but the build back better houses was not under my ministry, just as how the Chinese houses is on the housing authority. Although I give the general oversight of everything, it has different components and different aspects of housing. So when I spoke, I was speaking in relation to the little houses we're doing in communities for persons who come to you for assistance. And I'm glad that you raised it and I could make that clarification, because I was hearing outside that I condemn the build back better houses and say it's a disaster. It was nothing to do with build back better houses. I did not say it was build back better houses, and I was speaking in relation to the community houses that we're doing under the housing program in my ministry.
Okay, great.
So that is one. And you raise a point about they realize the lady was NNP and they take back. I didn't hear about that, but that will never happen, because before they go even send the board, you know, the lady is an NNP. So what I'm saying, you don't bring it and say she's an NNP and you take it back. In the first place, you may never give her if you feel she's an NNP. I mean, that won't happen, but I'm just saying, if you want to refuse to give her an NNP, you won't bring it, then take it back. You will never even give them. So I don't think this is because she's NNP or something. And I'm not aware of that, but I will have to call Tevin and we will have a conversation on that.
Okay.
And there was a third part that he...
Yeah, we were talking about someone in the the constituency of the parliamentary rep.
About the take back.
Who is trying to get us? Who's trying to get a home and she's unable to get the assistance.
About some disabled child. We ain't take out nobody and see. Anybody who coming out and see the right now under my watch is who die, who graduate from school, who leave school, who travel, and anybody else come out on the seed. That is not my directive and that is not the policy I work with. Okay. So then I will have to get the name of the person and look into it, because this is nothing about we're taking out people on seed.
We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning to you, GT, and to Minister Thomas and to your followers. GT, poverty will always be with us. I was raised poor. But our parents taught us a couple of things. Pride in ourselves and a certain minimum standard of dignity as human beings. So we were taught that we have to strive. We have to struggle. It's not going to be easy. We do not beg. And we don't walk with our mouth on the ground. But we have a situation in Grenada. There are some people who can't avoid it, but there is a syndrome. There is a dependency syndrome that's killing our country. Now tell me, someone has 7 children. None of them is handicapped. They're all up, they're working, are they able to work? And yet their mother, after years, has to depend on the state 100%. And they will complain that the state is not helping her. Right? She raised them. They don't see their responsibility to her. And some of them, they're people with children. And they feel that the state must mind the children. Look at what the amount that is invested in education and everything else, and people just feel the state has an obligation to them. There is that sense of people feeling that they're entitled to certain things. And I don't know how we get out of that. I don't know how we got there. It was not like that before, but that's where we are today. And the work of this minister is going to be a very difficult one, unless we get people into thinking that they're responsible for themselves and for their families, for their children, and eventually their parents in their latter years. But we have to do what we can. There are emergencies. Things will happen all the time, and people may find themselves in situations like this. But to me, the seed program, too many people are taking advantage, are exploiting it. I know people with children overseas who are holding big jobs. They have children in Grenada who are well employed, and they're still on the seed program. This is totally cannot be justified or defended. Have a good day, Minister. Good luck.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I share the sentiments that was expressed, because we really have some concerns. In terms of the applications coming in, and sometimes demand made by the children of some parents.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome, and thanks for your patience.
Good morning, GT.
Good morning.
And good morning to the Honorable Minister.
Good morning.
And I must indeed say, Minister, I'm happy to see you have progressed so much over the last few years as a minister, and definitely I'm proud of you. Must indeed say so. I also want to make a suggestion. Now, practically, what I've noticed is that persons who grow old are persons who are dependent or are not fully cohesive in their mental thinking, can be taken advantage of economically if they do have that problem. I'm thinking about a bill that can be tabled to protect persons when they grow old, so that persons cannot take the little assets that they do have, be it what they have in the bank, be it their property, lead them into debt so that these things can be drained out of them and go and be transferred over to another person. So I'm thinking that I know there is a bill in the U.S. that actually protects people that way. So it actually places an onus upon the financial institutions and different facets of the law, be it where the housing and land transfer, so that these things don't happen to people where their properties, they're being deprived of their properties and it doesn't go to the rightful owner. I'm thinking that I would like to see that happen in Grenada so that persons can be protected of their wealth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that suggestion. We could look into that and see what we could do, because we are very much interested in protecting the elderly in this country. Very much so.
All right. We do have another caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning. Let's hear from you.
Pleasant good morning, GT.
Good morning.
Pleasant good morning to Ms. Thomas. My contribution this morning would have to be with that of the SEED program. I would love to see in that avenue that there is a more quicker pace in terms of the approval process. And this is something that people may need to understand. For years I've been saying it, although you have to, there's always a vetting process before someone could be approved for the SEED program. But there are people out there who really need to be on the SEED program, and then the process is always, it just takes too long, whether it is with someone who may have children and they don't have a guy in the house to assist them, so forth and so on, and they need the assistance. For housing, I know Ms. Thomas is doing a good job in housing, and I would just like to share something here with her. Maybe in the near future, when another bill is being passed for the children, like the one that passed the marriage bill, etc., etc. I'm looking forward to seeing where the government could probably put in some more stiffer penalties for offenders in that form. Right now, I see that the government have put things in place whereby the younger ones could seek medical attention or reach out without having to have that person there, because most of the perpetrators may be the family members, so you could reach out to the police, etc., etc., and get things done. But I'm looking forward now to the stiffer penalties. And I'm throwing this outside here. Maybe this is something we'll get to the Minister of National Security. In the near future, we need to also be looking at prison reform as well. Thank you very much. That's my contribution.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. And I will hope you to save it all so we could probably gravitate to one final caller and then we take a wrap. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good day, JT, and good day to the Madam Minister. She mentioned about the housing, and a lot of young people want to get house free. And I do see that in the country. A lot of young people want to go to the minister to get a house free. And I'm saying that didn't just happen just so. Because when Beryl passed,
seems that we may have lost a caller. We may have lost a caller there. We lost that caller there. Let's try one other caller and then we
disaster government has to respond. They're different thing.
Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome via WhatsApp. And you may be my final caller for the morning. Caller, you're live.
Yes, good morning.
Go right ahead, please, caller.
Just a question. With regards to the SEED program and persons with disabilities, I just need some clarity because there was a kind of argument between me and an individual. So the Prime Minister, they revised the payments for persons with disabilities, and it's supposed to be like $500. The increase. So I'm finding out if somebody they are not SEED already, but yet for all they have more than one person with disabilities, is it that the individual getting the increase or the household are getting the increase? So just a bit of clarity with that. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. And that was my final caller for the morning.
SEED beneficiary is per household. So if you have one disabled person in your family and you're entitled to $500, you have 2, you have 3, one household will get nothing more than $700. $700 is the maximum per household. So if you have 5 persons with disability in the family, in the same household, you will not get more than $700. $700 is the max. So it's not like 5. We pay from $50 for children going to a primary school for transportation up to $700, which is a maximum for any household. So no household is expected to get more than $700 a month.
Okay, all right. You did, we had 2 previous callers. I'm not sure. I saw you were taking down some notes. If you remember, they were actually, question they were actually asking if you took some pointers and if you just want to respond to them briefly before we take.
Yes, one of the caller prior was saying that the approval process for seed need to be a little bit more timely. I think it lags a little bit, but sometimes the volume of work the volume of applications that you have to process, it takes some time. And we work with budget. So, for example, if we budget, just calling a number, $10,000 a month for seed, we cannot put on people to bring the budget 20,000. So as people exit, we include. And so from time to time we may do a little supplementary or whatever to more or less take up those that have been waiting for a little bit, because I think it was last month we kind of up it a little bit, so the numbers went up a bit. But all apart from the need, we have to look at the budget too. So we're not in a position to give everybody seed at the same time as requested. So that sometimes take a little time because we have to prioritize. Some families could try with what they have until it is more convenient for them to come on. But you have some that are dire need that you have to give almost immediate attention. And that is the situation. We wish we could give everybody seed, but it's not practical.
Senator Thomas, of course, we get to the stage of the moment we have to take a wrap for today's program. I want to thank you a whole lot for being on the program this morning. It was definitely an interesting conversation. Hope we can see you coming back some more. Although you didn't mention them before, you like this, But anything in closing you want to say before we take a wrap this morning?
Yes, just to let the general listening public know that this government is committed to the improvement of lives for people in Grenada. We continue to work towards that. We continue to provide the necessary services as best we can, given the limited resources that we have, and we continue to ensure that the welfare of people is of priority, and our elders and disability community is looked after in the best way we can. And I just want to call on all of us to join together with the government to ensure that the work that we undertake becomes a success. Be on board. Government can't do it all alone. We need the NGOs, we need the civil society organizations, we need the churches, and we need you, the community people, to get on board to make sure that we achieve our agenda and the lives of Grenadians improve as we continue to provide service.
All right. Thank you so much, Senator Thomas. I want to thank you once again. Best wishes goes out to you for the rest of the day. All right. Hey, folks, to our listeners and viewers out there, I want to thank you for being part of today's program. Join me again tomorrow for another edition Up to the Point. Have a good one. Don't forget the mid-morning magic after the lotto this morning. Stay with us here, Classic Radio GBN TV. That's what we say goodbye.